Okay guys, so I figured I'd make a quick follow-up video here on doing the ceiling mounted Nolo. And as you can see, I've got it more or less in the center of my play space here. And to be quite honest, I have found that overall, the differences in terms of how well it performs are not that great. I have done what I can as far as, getting rid of as much of the occlusion as possible, moving a bunch of stuff out of the way. But unfortunately, even now, having made the sensor be up on top, it still doesn't really fix any of the problems that the tracker has. The base station, again, the biggest problem is that once you do have it up there, it's hard to tell how much battery it has. It's pretty difficult to take it off to then take it down and charge it. I have mine on a magnet mount, so it's a little bit easier to take it off. And it holds in place pretty steady. There's no issues there really. But again, the biggest problem is that the tracking is still not ideal. One of my biggest concerns is still the fact that when you actually have to move your controller over your shoulder to make any kind of movements, it just fails. It'll kind of go up and then it just stops at a certain point. And I figured that mounting the Nolo base station on the ceiling would fix a lot of that. Unfortunately, it didn't. I may reach out to the devs and see what they can do about that, since it basically renders a lot of games unplayable in the sense that if you have to reach for something up high or go back and grab your guns, it just doesn't work. So, my ceiling is about like 10, maybe 11 feet tall, because I can definitely stack like another one of me before, I'd be able to touch it. So, and I'm like only 5'6", so I'm not a particularly tall guy. But the ceiling definitely, is tall enough to be able to give me a wide play area, and it's not enough to make this thing work really well. So unfortunately, I don't think that's going to fix anyone's problems with the Nolo, even if you do have a tall ceiling. I feel like until they really implement the double, base station kind of standard, it's not really going to have, a lot of fixes as far as occlusion goes. Now, the ceiling mounted solution works better than the shoulder height one, as I found. It seems like the tracking is a little bit easier, but you do have to be aware of the fact that if you mount the Nolo in the wrong direction on the ceiling, it will affect how, you move forward or back in the game. Right now, the way I have it oriented works fine for Steam VR, but you will have to flip yourself around if it does happen to be in the incorrect kind of position. So that's the other, the other kind of issue is that the ceiling mount does not seem to help the Nolo too much. Maybe they'll resolve it, maybe they won't, but right now it's still kind of a hassle. Again, I tried Arctica 1, I've tried also Killing Floor Incursion, which both kind of feature that, standard where you have to reach up to do certain things. In the Killing Floor game, I had issues pressing the menu buttons to start the game. I also had issues holstering the gun. No issues picking it up, but that was a big deal, as the holster. The issue was also opening doors using their mechanic where you kind of twist the controller and then pull back on it. It seems that due to the FOV restriction on the Nolo, moving your hand outwards sometimes causes it to lose track of the controller completely, which really sucks. And on Arctica 1, anytime you try and reach back for the guns, it still can't do it, even with the ceiling mount. So it's really disappointing. At this point, I really don't know when a fix is going to be coming. I know that there are some devs that have their own Nolo drivers that might be better than the stock one. So I'm going to look into that next and report back once I have my findings from the drivers that are kind of third party to see if that actually makes a difference for the Nolo tracking system. So hopefully this video also helped you folks out. I'll be doing more in this series, so stay tuned for that, and I'll see y'all later.